The indivisible cannot be known. Soham Haunsa, I am that, and Hari Om are mantras which help to realize the self. The knower of self is cool and peaceful like the moon. Our true nature is the most easy and natural state, which is experienced without doing anything. In it there is no intellect and there are no concepts. This state follows self-realization. When you close your eyes, you see dark blue, which is easy, natural, and formless. It is called Ganashayama. Self is invisible, which cannot be seen by deliberate effort. It gives us our sense of being. We remember various sense objects and desire some of them as per our need. Our mind decides what we want and we try to get them. By knowing the real worth of things as ignorable, one develops absence of worldly passion. Then mind loses all interest in sense objects. If there is only outward disinterest but inner attraction for objects, that is not real detachment. The knower of self is without desires as he is fully contented. The self-realized, who has lost interest in the sense objects, is free of the body identity. As he is not his body, he doesn't remain a limited human being. The bodiless or videhi, the unlimited, undivided or whole is beyond recognition. As that is what we really are, whatever can be known cannot be our nature. That is true knowledge, and to identify with the known is ignorance. Your separation from the body frees you from the duality of pain and pleasure. Although the deep blue seen with closed eyes is the most easy and natural, you cannot be with it for a long time. As long as you are ignorant, hopes, desires, and cravings don't leave you. Your individuality is their customer. After self-realization, one goes beyond them. Then none remains to desire anything. Self-knowledge is not difficult, but it is impossible without devotion to the Guru and without grace. You are never born. Our thoughts help to clear up other thoughts, and what remains is the truth. Viveka is a strainer to filter words. Our thinking increases words, and the right ones are selected by Viveka. The mind, intellect, and individual consciousness are also words, but they are also storehouses of words. All languages are time-bound, and they vanish when their time is over. At present, morning and afternoon are over, and what remain are evening and the night. This is the nature of time. The effects of your behavior in the morning are experienced in the evening. There is a stomachache now due to overeating in the morning. As there is life in the body, the destiny of its material is as per your earlier actions. You have to make adjustments as required for your comforts. Your self-love itself is Mahamaya, the great illusion. She has connected together the whole world. The self-love sustains on the juice bottled in the body. Your body gives an impression of individuality, but your consciousness is all the manifested. In order to know the self, always remember your body to be food material, in which is your consciousness. You have only to watch your consciousness without doing any addition or subtraction in it. You take yourself as your body and as an individual. Hence you are bound to suffer. The birth is not yours, but of the two states of waking and sleep. These states are responsible for unhappiness. In order to make our being tolerable, remembering Ishvara and repeating his name is recommended. This is one of the remedies. How was I in the womb, and how did I develop into this complete form? Think on these lines. Your development and greatness is only a quality of food juices. Know this, and drop all ego. Your development is like that of a raw mango, which is initially bitter, then sour, and finally sweet. This change is only in the quality of mango juice. The birth is not of an individual, but only of a food body, or a sattva form. Amongst millions of people, only a rare one knows that the body is not his form. Then the birth of the body cannot be his birth. What you were prior to listening to any word, the same you are now as well. Hence throw away all your stock words. With the waking state our pure being also appeared. But there is wrong identification with the body, followed by hopes, desires, and cravings. There was bliss of being, but it was lost in the body identification. You are trying to retain your identity. But as what? Many worship God, but they believe themselves to be their bodies and work for their sustenance. Along with the body, everything is going to vanish. The experiencer is going to disappear, along with his experience. It is all a season which is going to last for a short duration. It was the consciousness which became aware of the body. Due to identification with the body, it forgot itself. Chitragupta means the secret individual consciousness which writes its own good or bad destiny and suffers accordingly. Astrology applies to the ignorant and not to the self-realized. Your interest in that subject and your belief indicates your ignorance. Keep aside all those things which you have heard in this world, and what will remain will be your most natural true state. When you hear my talks, your speech becomes quiet. But as long as you are alive, you are likely to say or think something. If you think you are a man or a woman, you will have to also think about the future. The whole universe is the vision of a sage. That vision contains everything, and it gives rise to the whole world. Hence, a sage is free of volition. Your true nature is as a jnani, which you are ignoring and accepting some other identity, which you have heard of. Don't disturb your worldly life, as it is a part of your vision. By loving the known, you are shattering your blissful state, which is complete in all respects. The Satguru's grace is such that a true disciple will not even touch any term of recognition by people. He is never a sadhu, a mahatma, or a yogi. Then why are there so many creeds or sects? The reason is some ignorant religious teachers love certain concepts and believe those to be Brahman. That belief is then forced on their followers. One who realizes I am Brahman becomes one with the whole world. But we are pure and beyond everything. There are no kinds or sorts that can limit us. I am Brahman is also a concept. What is untinged and beyond all concepts should be known only by viveka. True knowledge of reality leads to absence of worldly passion. Never use your anger to prove your detachment. Let it be known to you that you are untouched even by dissolutions of the universe. A truly bold one is sure of his real nature as God or Guru. The timid lacks courage to have that faith. Krishna says those who read or hear an account of his life develop faith in him. Guru means consciousness, which is the inner sense of being in every living being. It is the form of God which is in the body but is separate from it. The consciousness which listens about the nature of Hari, what he is and where, etc., is the form of Krishna. God says to identify the self-love with the body is to ignore him. One who develops full faith that consciousness is the real form of Ishvara progresses faster in the spiritual quest. One realizes Krishna by worshipping him non-dually. Only a rare one who has earned religious merit develops that great faith. The real faith is to observe the unity between our consciousness and God's form. Due to the consciousness in the body, which is Bhagavan, we experience ourselves and also the world. A true devotee has full faith in the Guru's words, and he accepts them totally. He lives with full conviction of the existence of God in him as his consciousness. There are many who are devoted to God until they die, but the fear of death remains. Just as we don't need life when there is no body at all, as a sage is not his body. His existence is eternal. In order to solve this riddle, have full faith in the Guru's words, that you are not a human being, but only God, and live with that conviction. If you live as body, your death cannot be avoided. And that cycle of birth-death will repeat again and again. Listening to the Guru's words, the body is easily forgotten, and one gets absorbed in consciousness with increase in bliss. Applying Viveka, make friendship with consciousness. Then you will be untouched by whatever happens in this world. The God is in you as your consciousness, and in this world there is nothing more important than that. In reality, consciousness and the world are one. The real happiness is to have the feeling of inner freedom. The faithful realize that as they are Atman, bliss is their very nature. Hence, practice Jnana Yoga, Atman Yoga, so that you will realize the eternal Brahman in this very life. For this, increase your faith in Atman and live with that faith. Non-dual worship helps to realize the self. Krishna says, by reading about me, one develops real faith. Our consciousness is the Guru, who gives us our sense of being. Consciousness is in the body, but it is not the body. It is my form. It is interested in knowing about Hari as to how he is, who he is, and where to find him. One who identifies his or her consciousness with the body gives no attention to me. Developing faith that God is one's consciousness is a sign of spiritual progress. Then again, one who worships me in non-duality realizes me. A rare blessed person develops full faith in me. Real faith means believing consciousness as God. As I am present in you, you know your existence along with the world. Correct listening is to accept the Guru's words as the truth and to accept consciousness as one's form. Fear of death must vanish for the truly spiritual seeker. As a jnani is not his body, its lifespan does not apply to him, who is eternal. In order to solve this riddle of life, one should accept the Guru's words of being God and not a human being. Death is unavoidable for the believer of being the body. There is rebirth followed by death again and again. True listening helps to forget being the body, and there is the bliss of being the consciousness. apply viveka, and make friendship with consciousness. True faith in it is divine. Nothing exists when the consciousness is not. Real happiness is to enjoy the experience of inner freedom. The faithful is always happy, as he is Atma. By Jnana Yoga and Atma Yoga, realize the eternal Brahman before it is too late. Hence, increase your faith in Atma and live with that identity. A jnani has no idea of death. The experiencer of the entire world is beyond all description. The formless consciousness has accepted a form for itself as its own. There is no knowledge of the formless nature. What are we without the body? And what is our true nature? None knows this. The real knower of one's existence is Ishvara itself, who comes to know his being due to the invaluable quality of food bodhisattva. For spirituality, the Sanskrit word adhyatma, which means prior to all, is self. Adhyatma has no time limit as it is beyond time. There is no possibility of self-knowledge if one identifies with the food body as one's form. One loves and gets involved with the mental modification and remains bound by concepts. How can one go beyond concepts when concepts are actively used, even for normal functions? In true meditation, there is only consciousness free of other memories. A jnani has no idea of death. In this world there are many kinds of light, but in whose light are they seen? Is it not in the light of the self? Remember this and meditate. Then there will be no need of anyone's blessings. There are various methods of realization of Brahman, but there must be pure devotion, free of words. Our first experience of being awake was without words, but thereafter there was a flow of words and we began our behavior as a body. That gave rise to fear. The mind has never seen Parabrahman, and yet it describes Parabrahman as pure, unconditioned, formless, and unstained. There is fear because of the memory you are. How does the consciousness look without the body form? Every living being functions as the body. Amongst thousands of people, does anyone have full faith in Atman? Always remember that there is no Ishvara other than your consciousness itself. It is also termed Narayana. You are the only consciousness and nothing else. It is similar to the honeybee picking up only the nectar. Irrespective of the body form of a man or woman, the consciousness in it is the Adipurusha Narayana. True spirituality has only one support, that of the Guru's words, which are the final authority. His words are, the consciousness in the body is Narayana, meditate on him. That consciousness itself is the Prakriti and Purusha. The differences between man and woman are only in the body and not in consciousness. There is no God or religion other than consciousness. The consciousness that listens to the Guru is similar to the Guru, and its form is the Guru itself. It assumes the form as per your strong wish, provided you earnestly press for it. It develops greatness or worthiness based upon your insistence. If your inner insistence doesn't change with time, it is called as penance. The first sign of spiritual progress is to see with closed eyes a diamond-like luminous star. The Adi Narayana is residing in the aperture of Brahman in the crown of your head. What is the purpose of my telling you all this and you're listening? You must be fully aware of the importance of your consciousness. It is so powerful that it has control over gods, and it alone gives them publicity. It is the most dynamic and energetic thing in existence. Do your activities as desired, but let them be harmonious with consciousness. Although the world is great and ample, it is transitory. You must apply viveka, meaning discrimination, between the eternal and the transitory. It means to select that which will give you everlasting company. When we use the word Atman, don't think it to be something distant, as it is your own self. Our consciousness is the original love to be. It is self-love, the cosmic intelligence, or the great reality. There is nothing other than that. Self-love is the primary illusion. We come to know we are that which we like and would love to continue it. Today, we have our memory we are, which is Maya, and it is also the manifested Brahman. Without this memory, there is the unmanifested Brahman. How simple it is. There is love for existence or love to be. So far, millions of people have heard the Guru's words, but how many have made use of it? The Guru has given you the proof that your consciousness itself is the all-pervading Brahman, which is in every being. Should we not give it the importance it deserves? You can be separated from your body, but your oneness with Atman is indivisible. What does a jnani know? He knows that all this existence, including this world, is false. My comments will become a subject for criticism, but I am sure that just as I don't know anything, the same also applies to all those who come here. I am also not a jnani, but only a knower of what and how consciousness is. Although a sage is active in talking, his real nature is without attributes, or he is pure nirguna. Who is really in need and earnest for self-knowledge? In how many millions will you find such a person? Your experience of existence and what you experience as the world are only seasons. In that season you prefer to be like this or like that. Life itself is a season. Whose description is this? It is your own. How were you before this season? Have you forgot your eternal true form as Brahman, when there was no word, no meaning, no light, no darkness? Nirguna is a healthy state and Saguna is only sickness. The worldly experience is only that of sickness, but by the Guru's grace, for me, the same has become pure, nirguna. Only a rare one will be ready to have such an experience, but the others would have millions of births and equal number of deaths. Worship your consciousness as your Guru. You will see what changes take place in you after your realization. If you adopt only a few sentences from today's talk into your experience, that would suffice. Consciousness in body is Lord Narayana. The consciousness that appears in the body is Lord Narayana. Just as a honeybee sucks only the nectar, our attention should be on our consciousness as identity. Narayana is present in the body, irrespective of whether it is a man or of a woman. In spirituality, the only support we have is of the Guru's words. Meditate on the timeless cosmic spirit of Narayana, who is in you as your consciousness. It is both the cosmic spirit and the cosmic substance. The body forms of the male and female differ, but not the consciousness, which is the same. In this world there is no God and no true religion other than consciousness. The consciousness that listens to the Guru is identical to him. You can realize their unity by your faith in the Guru and by your insistence to know the reality. Holding his words firmly as the truth is the true religious austerity. The first sign of spiritual progress is to see a diamond-like bright star when your eyes are closed. You must know the importance of the Brahmaranda center in the crown of your head. Everything that is seen appears at this point. When you listen to the Guru with full faith, you lose interest in the material world. That is also a sign of your progress. Otherwise, what is the use of the Guru's teaching and your listening? The various deities mentioned in Hindu literature have received importance and publicity because of your consciousness. Consciousness is not limited to your body, as it is the source of all dynamic existence. Continue doing your activities with full awareness of the value and importance of consciousness. Although vast, this world has temporary existence. It is Viveka that helps us to look for the permanent, ignoring the transitory. When you talk of Atma, don't imagine it to be something with which you are unconcerned, as it is your own true being. What we really are should receive top priority. We love to exist, and our permanent existence is called Hiranyagarbha, or Mahat Tattva, or is the great reality. Without it, nothing exists. Our love for existence is also called as the primary illusion. We know that we exist, which we love so much and wish to continue. The manifested Brahman is also called Maya, which gives us our sense of being. When we don't know our existence, that is called the unmanifested Brahman. How simple all this is. Our self-love appears and we love to exist. These are the Guru's words, which are heard or read by millions, but how many are really interested in them? The Guru has given very convincing knowledge that your consciousness is Brahman, which is present in all living beings. Shouldn't you treat it with the same importance? The body gets dropped at the end, but your experience as Atma ever remains. What does a jnani know? He knows that the experience of this world is false and the only truth is the unmanifested, which ever remains. This talk is likely to displease many who will criticize it, but I know that what is prevailing is all ignorance, and those who come here know nothing. Even my being a jnani is also an illusion. I am not a jnani, but a knower of consciousness. A jnani is pure nirguna, although he talks a lot full of thunder. How many are there who are really interested or earnest to know? From amongst 1,000,000 persons, can you point out even a single truly interested one? Your present experience of existence is temporary or seasonal. During that short span, you believe yourself to be someone as per your choice. About whom am I talking? I am giving your own information. I am stating what you really are and what you believe yourself to be. There was a time when there were no words, no meaning, no light, and not even darkness. Have you forgotten that state of yours? which was eternal and valid even at this moment. The manifested is in dis-ease, and the unmanifested is ever in ease. You are like a patient in this big hospital called the world, but the Guru's grace helps you realize your pure nirguna nature even in that sickness. There are very few who care to know the truth. The others prefer to continue their normal life and are ready to be born again and again. They live in ignorance and await their death when it comes. Who would dare to accept all this knowledge as his or her own? Worship your consciousness as the Guru. That will change you, and you will note the difference in you after your self-realization. I have said here many things, out of which if you put into practice even a few, that would suffice.